At Breathe, we believe in the power of just talking, of getting intentional about talking to one another. In our country, we have, it's kind of the thing everybody's talking about these days, but it is mental health. But we don't even really know what that is, and we certainly don't know how to help it. What do you think about mental health? Is it a problem? Is it a bigger problem with young people than old? Do you know somebody who struggles with depression, somebody who struggles with anxiety, somebody who's had suicidal thoughts? We ask people when they're struggling to find someone that they trust, that they can talk to. And yet it feels like more and more in our country, we don't know who that is. We don't know who to go to. High schooler and college students are dealing with more mental health issues now than ever before. The numbers are the highest level that the Western world has ever seen.
I struggle and have struggled with disordered eating.
Over the summer of 2019, I lost my mom to a mental illness that claimed her life and altered my path in many ways.
I have struggled with not feeling like I'm good enough.
When I first came to school, I was homesick more often than not.
Since 2014, more people say they feel overwhelmed than depressed. Counseling centers, college counseling centers, and others have the highest numbers of kids that they're dealing with in their histories. The percentage of teens and young adults with depression or anxiety or other mental health disorders has increased dramatically in the last 10 years. From 8% in 2009 to well over 14% now. Here in Hayes, between 2014 and 2015, the Kelly Center, who does counseling and mental health services on campus, had 1,950 students that they saw during the course of the year. In 2018-19, that number went to 4,100. This year, it's even higher. The average person in the United States reports to have one close friend, but even more shocking, 25% of our country says they would have nobody that they would consider a confidant or somebody that they would trust. People don't go to church the way they used to. It used to be a place where we had intentional time to try to connect to one another, to talk to one another, to delve into one another's lives and support one another. That's decreasing. There isn't a place to feel connected. There isn't a place where you automatically know it's okay to be yourself and to just communicate. It's not happening in the world to where we are now. Does it make any difference, you may wonder? They estimate that loneliness over the lifespan in your life is equal to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It's comparable to obesity or over drinking and the impact it has on you. Generation Z, those between 16 and 22, have the highest loneliness rates ever seen. It just keeps getting higher and higher. Millennials were considered the least lonely, and over the course of the last 30 years, we've seen that dramatically change. What can we do? What difference can we possibly make? I find it interesting that if we do claim to or find situations where people are having mental health difficulties, what do we do? Or what's the solution? The solution is to send them to therapy or find a counselor that they can meet with. Well, what is therapy? What is counseling? It is talking. It's intentional talking with a point of dealing with stuff that you need to deal with. And within that, there's a fascinating piece of information that says more than 50% of effective therapy has to do with if the counselor actually cares for their client. If the client believes that their therapist cares, therapy works. If they don't, it doesn't. We can make a difference if we care. Do you care that these are the numbers we're looking at? Do you care that people don't feel connected? I believe we can make a difference just by being intentional with something as simple as coffee. That you could on a regular basis, once a week, spend an hour being willing to talk to someone? Can't we just talk? Here in Hayes, it was reported to me by Kelly Center that more than half the people that come for their services aren't dealing with chronic or actually diagnosed mental health disorders. They just don't have anybody to talk to. So they're scheduling time at the Kelly Center so they can have somebody regularly to talk to. Whether you see it in your own life or not, our society is driving wedges between us. Social media, our phones make it a whole lot easier to stay apart than they do to make it possible to stay together. And my question is, do we care? If we know this is the direction we're heading, if we know these are the trends, if we know that it makes a difference in our lives and whether or not we connect to somebody, do you care? Because if we do, we can make a difference. Sometimes people's problems feel too big. Can we just talk? Do you think it would help if you just committed to being with somebody regularly? Can we just talk? If it would help, could you just talk to someone? If you knew there was somebody out there who cared for you, or if there was somebody out there who expected you to care, could you just talk? What if you were the person to make a difference in someone's life? Are you willing? Instead of just consuming coffee to make sure you get your homework done or to get you through a day or to move you from one spot as fast as you can to the next, could you be intentional with your coffee? Could, instead of you just having it to yourself, next time actually share that cup of coffee with somebody so you could let them know that you cared about them? Could you just talk? I believe we can make a difference. It just means saying yes to talking.